Recording is starting now. Okay, Mrs. FFO says using water for detoxification and weight management. Okay, so that's Isaac's portion. That's Isaac's portion. So I'm sure Isaac is taking tabs. Isaac, please write the questions down. Thank you. Using water for detoxification and water weight management. Someone says new insights about water therapy. Fantastic. Who else? Please talk to us. What would you like to learn? What would you like to learn? Let's make use of this time while we wait for others to join. Welcome, Wumi. We're expecting about 10 more people to join. I think we're a total of 22 or so. Yes, so welcome. So somebody says, I'm curious about how to use water to manage depression and mental health issues. Or surely, welcome. Yes, so that's Isaac's portion. Like I am just here. I'm not teaching today. I've been talking since 9. Isaac is here to teach all of us about water. We're taking notes. So I'm here. Somebody says the healing power of water. Lillian, that's a sounding spiritual. Isaac is here for you, don't worry. Like everything is Isaac's portion. Using water to improve memory, Samuel. Okay, good. I'm just happy that this is Isaac's portion. Nobody's asking me any questions. God be praised. Who else? What would you like to learn? What would you like to learn as we wait for our classmates to show up? We have about 7 more people, I think. So what would you like to learn? Let's go. Who else? Wumi, what would you like to learn? Let's go, let's go. Topic intrigued me. Okay, so I would like to know how water can do all of this. I would like to know too. Isaac! Isaac is in soup. Like, Isaac is just in soup. Isaac, if you know what I have been saying about you, like you are the god of water. So I trust you. I'm just here chilling. I know you can hear me, so you're not going anywhere. I will soon put you right on the hot seat while I begin to jot. Isaac is a brain scientist. He's my guy. Okay, what would you like to learn? What would you like to learn? What would you like to learn? So let's talk. What would you like to learn? What would you like to learn? Who else? Who else? Who else? So yeah, Habib, using water to manage weight and improvement. Habib, why are you managing weight? Go and jog. Don't worry, Habib is my guy, so I like frustrating him. Who else? Who else? Who else? Water, water, water. What would I like to learn? Yeah, I would just like to learn the healing power of water. Lillian said so, something like that. Healing power of water, yes. So, Zico! Zico! That's my guy. You guys don't know how much I love Isaac. Like, Isaac is my sugar daddy, but he doesn't give me money. Isaac, what's going on? It's like you're stingy to your side chick. Zico! I also hand over to him because it's his class. I'm just his secretary. Healing power on trauma. Interesting. So, who else? Who else? I'm using 60 more seconds. We will start. I'm just ensuring that more people join. We're 16. I think we're about 22 or something. So I'm chilling to see all those African timers. But 60 seconds we would fly in. Yeah. So who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Let's go. Hello, the topic is captivating. I totally agree. The most captivating part of it is that water heals trauma. Isaac, water heals trauma, stress, and depression. Wow. Yeah, so I need to even share my story. My relationship with water is very traumatic, but my healing started when I met Isaac. So I will explain it very soon. Just hold on. I will start with a story. One more person. Why are we here? One more person. Let's talk. Why are we here? Why are we here? What would we like to learn? So we're 17. I'm just keeping tabs. 30 seconds, we fly in. Why are we here? What would you like to learn? I like the way Sandra raised her hand in her question. Hello, like present ma. The topic is captivating. She must have been a good student back in school. Like I am. Who else? One more person. Let's go. What would you like to learn? Where are all the students? Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Where are all the students? Students, we need to do roll call. Where are we all? One more person, one more person. Okay, so let me share my water story with you. I remember when I was growing up, my mother did not like water, and because of that, we never learned how to swim. She said to us that she almost got drowned when she was younger. and then so she stopped anything around water. And I remember that when we were younger, our cousins used to swim. So I have cousins who swim beautifully well. They, in fact, my cousins can have parties underwater. All those people who will sit down, just be playing underwater, all those marine spirits kind of children. Those are my cousins. They will do black flip. They will be playing behind. I'm like, hey, even front flip, I've not done. So my mother never wanted us to learn how to swim. And I remember when I was growing up, I became a teenager, and my teenage years, I almost got drowned, not because I couldn't learn how to swim, but because I had this program and fear was attached to my mind that every time I got into water, I freaked out. So it was not even about being able to swim or not. Because I was always anxious and always experienced panic, every time I got into water, instead of concentrating on what my teacher was teaching me or my instructor was teaching me to do, I never could focus on it and I never really learned. So fast forward to 2018, I went to a club on Allen Avenue, fantastic swimming pool, and I had 10 sessions there. In fact, by my fourth session, I was going to the deep end and all of those things. But the irony was that even though I really love water, like I'm one of those people who would have her bath twice or three times a day and all of those things. So even though I really loved water, I just never felt comfortable in swimming pools. Every time I needed to swim, I would ensure that there was a lifeguard or something. Something just always told me that I was going to drown and die, and all of those things. Because I remember when I was younger, that was something my mother used to say, that we should not go and swim so that we wouldn't drown and die. So I have that statement right at the back of my mind. And then last year I almost drowned again because this time around I was at Seychelles. So we were, I don't know if it's called an ocean or something, but those places, sharp. Yeah, like we had to put on, what's this thing called? No, it's not skydiving. No, it's not skydiving. Is above. All these things, Isaac will mention them. So I had to wear like fin, whatever. I can't remember the name now. So if you remember, please just let me know. I had to wear all these gadgets. Snorkeling. Yeah, I went for snorkeling. Before the snorkeling, I was really making noise. That's how I make noise normally. I was so excited, very happy. I carried my snorkeling outfit. Nobody reminded me. So, and then they said people should be jumping. I just jumped. As I jumped like this, I just heard you would drown and die. That was the only thing I heard. I just started screaming for help. That's how they got me out. And it wasn't that I couldn't float out because I wore the entire gadget. So when I got out of the water, in fact, everybody who knew me as a motions doctor, they were just laughing like, hey, so you can freak out. So I told myself that today I must shame my water experience. So I went back inside 5 minutes after. I swam, then I came out. Then I went back again. Then the irony of it was later when we left the snorkeling spot and then we now went to swim and then we had a swimming competition. You won't believe that I won. Like I swam with dolphins or human dolphins. I also don't know how I won because the only thing I heard was 1, 2, 3, go. And by the time I got to the end, I even thought I was going to be the last as my swimming skills. By the time I got there, I just started seeing like people were shouting, you can win, you can win. I said, I can win something in life in water. But that experience taught me a lot of things. And one thing that it taught me was that now I needed to check my relationship with water. So it wasn't that I couldn't learn how to swim and all of those things. I saw that because I'd had 2 different water episodes, my relationship with water was not empowering and I was going through some level of trauma. So I had my mother's, and when I had this snorkeling drama last year, December, that I almost drowned, I posted it on Facebook. So my mother follows me on Facebook, only for her to call me to remind me of the daughter of whom I am and the fact that I should stop doing some things that can make me die, So she still planted that program all over again. So I told myself this year that in 2020, I must learn how to swim. But beyond learning how to swim, I must understand the scientific backings of water and everything about water. So Isaac will go ahead to explain all of these things to us. But before he does, I want to say 1 or 2 things about trauma. So he mentioned that I should have a conversation about trauma, and I'll really make it as interesting and yes, as interesting, practical, and educative as possible. So I sat down this afternoon and I was recalling the traumatic events that I have experienced in my life. And one simple definition of trauma is that trauma is a natural reaction or a normal reaction to a horrible event. Trauma is a normal reaction to a horrible event. Trauma is a normal reaction to a horrible event. Before this workshop, 10 minutes before this workshop, I saw a video on social media that was trending about a lady screaming out, saying that there were armed robbers and hooligans, over 100 of them around that area in Agege, Lagos State, that they should please save them from these guys. What she's experiencing presently is close to trauma. So this time around, she's shouting, she's screaming, she's reacting to what her mind has informed her is a horrible event. And then there are two sources of trauma, according to what I understand about it. There are two sources of trauma, which is the indirect trauma and the direct trauma. So you have the indirect source of trauma and the direct source of trauma. An example of the indirect source of trauma are witnessing an act of violence. So you see kids that are experiencing trauma because of their parents. So parents, violent parents, parents who fight and all of those things. And the child is always, there was a video I saw last month, I think a couple in Ghana or maybe a part of Nigeria, no, I think it was in Ghana, where a husband was beating his wife. What had started was that the wife was insulting the man, and then the guy started beating the woman. And then, yes, I think Isaac was actually there, or somebody. Yes, I think he was the one. And then there was a child there, and I mean, we're watching the video together. I know that I was in the room where they were fighting. You know, there was a child there, and the child kept on screaming and all that. And the child is less than 5. And, you know, the child kept on screaming, shouting, "Daddy, you are a devil." You know, the child was extremely unhappy. You could see, you could touch the pain. So that's witnessing an act of violence. That's indirect trauma, not really happening to the child, but happening to somebody else, and you are experiencing it. So an example also is a plane crash. When plane crashes happen, like the one that happened earlier on this year about Kobe Bryant, he affected everybody. Like I didn't know Kobe Bryant too much. I knew his name. I knew he was successful, but I really did not know him. But when I heard that he died, the only thing I knew about him was his relationship with his basketballing daughter. You know, and I remember shedding tears that day. I didn't know that I was crying until I started crying. You know, so this is me, and I started thinking about his family. I thought about other people that died. I thought about the impact and so many other things. So you have the indirect one, which is witnessing an act of violence. You have the natural disasters, like what is going on in the world now, COVID and the post-COVID experience. You have the death of a loved one, like issues happening to you, happening around you and affecting you. So that's the indirect source of trauma. Then you also have the direct source of trauma, which is now something that happens to you personally. So it is not based on third party or what you are perceiving or what you are, what you are perceiving. Now you are the one in this particular situation. You are the one experiencing this pain. So you have rape as a direct source of trauma. You also have domestic violence, you have illnesses, you have injuries, you have all of those things there. And almost all of us have gone through one level of trauma or the other, whether direct or indirect. One level of trauma, depending on how you were parented, depending on where you were parented, depending on a lot of strategies and all of that. In this trauma also, some people actually look at the indirect trauma where the direct trauma really, what they call the psychological, physical trauma. So some people call what I call direct trauma, physical trauma. Some people call what I call the indirect trauma, psychological trauma. So if we were in the psychological space, if I was talking to psychologists, so according to the APA, which is American Psychological Association, I'll be talking about the physical and psychological trauma. So physical is what I mentioned, which is direct, which has a direct consequence and direct impact on your soul or spirit or body. Then the psychological one, which is inherited as a result of association, yes, as a result of your association or as a result of impact or as a result of direct exposure. Yeah, so that is on the sources of trauma. Now let's look at signs of trauma. I'm laying this foundation because part of what Isaac will be discussing will be how to use water to heal and do a lot of things in this area. So let's look at signs of trauma also. I would also put the signs of trauma as the visible signs and the unnoticeable signs. So the visible signs or the unnoticeable signs of trauma. The visible signs of trauma that it is easy for you to identify, to pick up, or to perceive are when people are traumatized, they appear shaken. So imagine an armed robber just burgling a house or whatever. I remember the first time that my car was burgled. I parked my car in my compound at home, and then I, interestingly, I woke up around 4 a.m. to use the bathroom, and then I went to bed. Now, with hindsight, I see that it was Holy Spirit who woke me up. But then at that point, I didn't know that was it. So um, I woke up, used the bathroom, into my room, and then around past 6, my neighbor started screaming my name. And then when my neighbor started screaming my name, this is a neighbor that's never screamed my name before. I knew something was wrong. So I dressed up and I stepped out. And the first thing he said was, "Oh, something has happened to your car." And the first question I asked was, "Is my car there?" He said, "Yes." So as long as the car was there. And then he went, then we checked it. They're taking my brain box and all of those things. The interesting thing was, all through the day, even though I didn't appear flustered physically, I was really traumatized because the next time I slept at home, I woke up between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. every day. Like, I kept on waking up till I left that area. I kept on. And even now, there are some places I will never park my car because I still have that thing at the back of my mind. So there's the visible one where people are disturbed. So you see plane crashes, accidents. You just see direct pain or direct exposure to pain. And then they appear shaking, they appear disoriented, they are anxious. Sometimes they experience mood swings depending on, so today they are happy, in the next 1 or 2 minutes, something as they're just in their zone, blah, blah, blah. And you're wondering, is this bipolar, whatever it is. Then sometimes they are edgy, sometimes they are irritable, sometimes it's total fatigue, sometimes it's flashbacks. So I've seen people also where I remember the day I tapped someone, and she screamed. And when she screamed, I didn't understand the scream, but when she screamed, I knew that it was deeper than my tap. So she was like, "Oh, oh, oh, oh." And then I kept quiet. After a while, I was like, "Are you okay?" She said, "Oh, yes." And then I didn't say anything again. Then later on, I asked her again, like, "What did my touch remind you of?" Because of my job. So what did my touch remind you of? Like, I didn't say because of my job, in my mind. So she was like, "Oh, not to worry, not to worry." But of course, by the time I got to the root of it, she hates being tapped because the last time she was tapped by an armed robber. So every time people tap her, she gets back to that zone. It triggers something in her. So those are the visible signs of trauma. And then the unnoticeable signs of trauma are, number one, withdrawal. So sometimes some people cope, sometimes some people use withdrawal as a coping mechanism. Sometimes it's emotional detachment. You just see that somewhere along the line, they are not living and participating in life. Like, they are not experiencing a level of themselves that they should usually experience, and we really do not know how, why, or what exactly is going on. So trauma shows itself in different phases, and the truth about it is that if you're in Nigeria, for example, you must have experienced one level of trauma or the other. From our health system has failed a lot of people. It doesn't have to be direct, but also indirect. One and almost all of us knows one person that something could have gone on better for, or you could have gotten a better result in something. That one is there. I remember even till now. So I lost my uncle to Dana crash. It's going to be 6 years this year, I think. Yes, I lost my uncle to Dana crash, my mother's younger brother and only brother. And interestingly, I was strong for the entire family because of my job, my titles, whatever it was. But the irony of it was the fact that I did not know that I I was experiencing some level of withdrawal. So the moment my uncle died, the first thing I did, I shut down every invitation outside of Lagos. And I didn't know. I just saw that every invite that came, I never went for them. I would just have a way of saying I wasn't interested. I did not step out of, I did international flights, but I did not go for any local flights until 3 years after. And when I did my first local flight, it was for a friend of mine. He had no idea that my uncle's death had traumatized me. I lost trust in local flights. I just did not feel safe. And I really did not just want to do anything on Lagos roads, not to talk of flying actually, but I was able to fly to Abuja 3 years after. But another thing that happened to me was that I noticed that after his death, every time I flew internationally, I was always palpitating. Like every time I was on board, the first 5 minutes, I just would know that I wasn't myself. Like any little any little turbulence, I just lose my peace. And I didn't know on time. That was the irony of it. It was like it snuck up on me. It was one day I just said, I didn't used to feel like this. Like, what's going on? Why am I scared? What's going on? Why am I scared? I was asking myself that question. Then I spoke to my best friend. I'm like, something is not right. Every time I fly, I just do not feel safe in the air anymore. And then started asking myself questions. And then I arrived at the truth. My uncle's death shaped me into something else. And it left me not just pained, but it left me traumatized. And my relationship with flying and aircraft became different. And now I'm trying to restore. Truthfully, I'm not at 100%, but I can tell you that I'm on a 75, 80%. The 20% there is for me still faffing around. Not that I cannot, but I'm just being real. That's what it is. And that's how sometimes people relate, people who have been raped before, their trust in men, relationships, people who have been betrayed before. So all of us have a flavor of pain that we're relating with, whether direct or indirect, and all of that. So this is a fantastic time to hand over to Isaac. Isaac is actually supposed to be doing all of these conversations. I really do not know why. But so Isaac will be taking us on everything else on water. I'm also here to learn. Isaac is the water god, marine spirit. Isaac, are you in town? Are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, fantastic. So, guys,
Hello.
yes, I can hear you. So I will become a student now as I hand over to Isaac ONOJA, the principal and founder of Minds and Emotions Clinic in Abuja. He's a pharmacist, he is a brain scientist, and he's very rich, even though he has never given me money. Welcome, Isaac, and good evening.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for all joining in this evening. Cool COVID-19. Yeah. So how are we all doing? Somebody who really likes to hear from people. I don't know. We're going to do an exercise very quickly.
Okay.
I want you all to tell me wherever you're listening your you're joined from. Just write. Are you
Okay.
in
In the chat room, yes.
Lagos, Abuja? Chatroom, yes. Let me
Yeah.
let
So
me
please
see where
just
you
type in
are.
where you're listening from. Okay.
All right, Lagos. Okay, Lagos, Port Harcourt, Ibadan. Yes, Lagos. Yeah, let's go Abuja. Lagos. Yes, Lagos. Allow me is in Lagos. Tolu is in Lagos. Okay, all right. So I think we have more of Lagos people here. Yeah, that's very good. Thank you for all joining, and thank you for the knowledge. I mean, for the quest for knowledge that you guys have, and the difference will always show for people. Okay, somebody is from Wari. Thank you very much for joining. Now, I want to ask you a very quick question, and I want you to give me your answer. What do you know about water? Just write anything you have known about water. Just write for me. Anything you have known. What do you know about water? Okay, water is life. We drink water and use it for bathing. Yes, keep going. Let's write. What do you know? Anything at all you know. To quench thirst and for cleansing, yes. Water is the spirit, yes. Water is life, yes. Yeah, water is therapeutic. We never know, okay, how? Okay, it's colorless, yes. It occupies some weapons of our bodies, yes. Water has no enemy, yes. This one is a fella fan. Yes, yes. Water is a universal solvent, yes. This is a scientist. My body is mostly made of water, yes. Water, what do you know? Water is a source of energy, yes. Water will always find its level, yes. Let's go. I want to write. I want everyone. Keep writing, keep writing. You know so much. Keep writing. Water covers more area on the earth than land, yes. Most foods, fruits, and our body contains water, yes. Water is a force, yes. Water is clear and transparent, yes. You see, in this place, there are no wrong answers. Just right. No wrong answers. Water is the origin of all things, yes. Water kills people when they drown, yes.
Ah,
Water aids digestion, yes. Water, water, water. We cannot do without water, yes. Water aids the body system, digestive, blood circulation, yes. Water, 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 water. Amazing. Now we have a group of coaches, therapists, and parents in this class. So it's a lovely place to have this conversation. Yeah, water is a source of life. Yes. Water therapy is healthy. Yes. Water is odorless. We are told to drink 2 to 3 liters of water, even though I don't. Yes. Water is everything. Thirst kills faster than hunger, I think. Yes. Water. Okay. Thank you very much for all that you have written. Now I'm going to ask you to do another quick exercise. You are going to write 10 great things about yourself. 10 great things. And I'm timing, and it's for 1 minute. Are you ready, everyone? 10 great things about yourself. You write the 10, you just keep writing the 10. 1, 2, 3, go. 1 minute. I've started. 1 minute. We have 50 seconds left. 10 great things about yourself. 10. Just keep going. 10. 10. Keep going. You have 33 seconds left. 15 seconds left. 9 seconds. 5 seconds. 2 seconds. Stop. Stop. Everyone stop now. Stop. Now, who did 10 over 10? Who wrote 10 things? If you wrote 10, say yes, 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 yes. If you didn't get 10, say no, 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 no. If you got 10, if you wrote 10, say yes, 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 yes. If you, okay. Yes. I can see. Okay. No, 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 no. Yes. Good. Okay. Now we have just a few of us who wrote 10 great things about ourselves. So now tell me how you feel now as we speak. Just write your feeling. How do you feel? 1 minute again. How do you feel? Your time starts. How do you feel? For the 6 seconds left. How do you feel? 34 seconds left. 25 seconds left. How do you feel? 13 seconds left. 4 seconds. All right, stop. Thank you very much. Hopeful, cool, expectant, curious, excited. Yeah. Thank you very much for taking your time to do these exercises. Very good. Now, I said we should write 10 things about ourselves, 10 great things. Some wrote up to 10, some did not write up to 10. At the end of this session, you're going to still do the same exercise, and you will find that you will write more than 10. More than 10 about yourself. Now, water. Water. The first thing you must know about water is that water is 100%. Are you listening? Water is 100% therapeutic. 100% therapeutic. And the reason is this. Water is a life force. Water is a life force. It's life and force. We have not done so much about water. Let me give you my background a little. Now I'm in my first degree, it's in pharmacy. I'm a pharmacist. And you know, the study of disease and therapeutics gets you to want to learn more and more about other things. This got me very interested when I found that there was a concept of emotional intelligence that was, you know, at that time, something that was not well researched in our country. And I decided to take a study about emotional intelligence, and I did some certifications in emotional intelligence with 6 seconds. And during those trainings, I started finding about, I found out that water was, emotions was completely about water. That in the hypothalamus where emotions are synthesized and produced, you need water to produce it. And one of the philosophies at 6 seconds is fish don't talk about water. That was my best philosophy. Fish don't talk. Do you know from that philosophy of fish don't talk about water, that's what has brought us to brought me to where I am today. I have gone to do international certification as a swim instructor, lifeguard instructor, and an aqua therapist. Using water, aqua therapy, using water as therapy. This is certified. I spent about a month doing the training, and my life has not remained the same. And trying to pass this information to other people, sometimes you meet with a lot of opposition or skepticism from people. They don't want to believe that water has that potential. One thing you must know about water is that, or about the earth. This earth, land, is a tenant. I want you to write it down. Land is a tenant. Water is the owner. The landlord is water. Earth is a tenant. So it means that, you know, the landlord can always take over his land when he wants to. Like if your landlord wants to use his house, he will just give you a quick notice that, hello, Oyinkansola, I'd like to use this house for something else, and I give you 6 months to move out. Now, you may love that location. You may have done so many things in that location, but now the owner wants to take over. The same way, water takes over land because it's the owner, it's the real landlord. And have you not discovered in the earth right now that water is taking over land? What you call flooding, what you call global warming. And water is gradually taking over its land. 70% of this world is water. Land has only 30%. And the 30% was given to the earth by water. Now, I have a PGD in logistics and supply chain management. In logistics and supply chain management, in transportation, we have the land transport, we have the rail transport, and we have the maritime transport or water transport. Land and rail cannot carry as much as water can. Land and rail are limited. Check, if you want to move goods from one part of the world to the other, for instance, there's no road from Nigeria to China. The reason is simple. The landlord is water. You have water. If there was a possibility to be able to make road over, they would have been able to do that. But you cannot do that because of the expanse of water. Now, a ship can carry a whole country if it can be pushed to just sit on top of water. That's when we get to that point where we talk about the properties, the nature of water and the forces of water. Water has a great force to be able to carry whatever is on it. And we say emotions are like the sea. I went to Durban in South Africa. I went to swim in the Indian Ocean. I went into the Indian Ocean. I'll tell you the experience there. In the Indian Ocean, you have different depths. Different depths. As you move from the shore, as you keep going in, it gets deeper and deeper. Do you know what was going on? When the wave rises very tall, what you need to do to go in front of that wave is not to confront the wave. Do not confront the wave at any time. Do not stand before the wave. What you need to do is to dive under, go under the wave. The wave will pass over you. You continue your journey inwards to the deeper part of the ocean. I went until I got to a point where it was clearly marked. It was marked that you cannot go beyond this point because after this point, you have sharks. You have shark points where sharks come to. So I couldn't move away from, move ahead. But what did I find in that environment? If you're listening to me, if you get into water, getting like into the Atlantic Ocean and you dip there, there is no experience greater than it. Somebody will say, what is this guy talking? Water. To me, get into Atlantic Ocean, get into. Now, the thing is this, water has that capacity to carry whatever you put on it. The force of water. Now, you remember Archimedes, those of us who did science. There's what you call the law of flotation or the Archimedes principle. Archimedes principle states that when a body is wholly or partially in
Isaac, we can't hear you again. Hello? Hello, Isaac. Hello? I also cannot hear him, so I'm trying to see if, yes, I think he lost connection. Let's just hold on. I'm sure he would connect back to us. Hello. Let's hold on. I'm sure he will get back to us.
Water or a fluid, it experiences an upthrust which is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced. So when you find somebody who says, I'm very big, if I get into water, I will just fall to the bottom like a piece of stone, do you know that the big people, those who have large sizes, do better in water than people who have small streams?
Mm.
Water will hold your weight. Water holds your weight. What does that tell you now? Water will carry any situation. Any situation you put on water, it will be carried. That is the place of emotions. Now you have very, like in a swimming pool or in a river, you have the shallow and the deep end. You have shallow emotions, you have deep emotions. You have mixed emotions, deep emotions. Now, so if you go to the swimming pool, for instance, let's use that analogy. Where do you find more people? You find more people at the shallow end, right? Shallow end, yeah? A lot of people are there, shallow ends. You find them a lot playing there. But why do you find a few people at the deep end? The reason is this. Once people cannot feel their feet touching the floor of the pool, this is not a place to be at all. You understand? But do you know the best part? What's the best part of the swimming pool or where to swim is the deep end. And you use less energy to swim at the deep end. Water begins as life of the human being begins 100% as water. Every life starts at 100% as water. The sperm is water. It swam to the egg. The egg itself is water. Once you hear egg, don't make the mistake to think is this thing you eat every day. Don't think that. Don't. If you go that way, you will miss it. It's water. Once it is fertilized, the fetus is water. It begins to develop in water, amniotic fluid. In water. Once the child is 9 months, the fetus is 9 months, it swims out during childbirth. It is when children are born that they are deactivated, that their swimming powers are taken from them. And parents are responsible for doing the deactivation. So everybody is born a swimmer and everybody has power of water. But many people have their power of water is deactivated, it's not activated. So what we do in water therapy is first of all activate the water part of the human being and the healing process begins. Now, they say how do you use water as a cleansing agent? Of course, all of us know that water is a universal solvent. Water does that solvent property by forming what we call micelles. Once water forms micelles, it does that connection and helps to cleanse the human body. It's a universal solvent because it dissolves everything. Water dissolves everything. Everything is dissolved by water. If water does not dissolve it, if you add anything to water, water will support what you have added to dissolve. So water is a universal solvent because it also helps other solvents to function in the activities that they must carry out. Now, the human brain. I said earlier, life begins at 100. Life starts at 100% water. Once you are born, water goes to 90%. The body of a child has 90% of water. As you begin to grow, it begins to reduce until you get to 70% of water in adulthood. Now, but the human brain is 85% water. The human brain is 85% water. That is why if you want to do anything, like all that we're talking about in therapy is dealing with the human brain. You'll find out when we get to where we talk about for pain and all that, what water can do for pain. But for the brain, 85% of it in water. So when we do brain optimization, for instance, one of the ways to optimize the brain, especially to enhance memory, is to use water therapy. Water stimulates the production, or water stimulates the formation of more neurons in what we call neurogenesis in the hippocampus. In the limbic system of the human brain, you have what we call the amygdala, the hippocampus. The amygdala is responsible for is the alarm system of the body, but the hippocampus is responsible for learning, for memory, and for experience. Now, water helps to produce more neurons in the hippocampus. So if somebody has dementia or somebody has memory issues, we use water to be able to improve the memory of that person. And you say, how does it do that? Now, there's what we call the doctrine of signature. The doctrine of signature. The brain has, you have 85% of water, you have the gray matter, and you have the blood vessels that surround it. Now, that water has different electrolytes and different nutrients that feed the brain for optimization. So when you're talking about brain optimization, is to increase the attention of the brain, increase the memory of the brain, increase the learning capacity of the brain. The learning capacity of your brain is directly proportional to the water content of your brain. For instance, if water from Kanji Dam goes low, what happens to power in Nigeria? Power goes low. So your water level is directly proportional to your functionality. We say that if you have 50% reduction of water in your body, your life cannot be sustained. In fact, dehydration is a medical emergency. If you say a child or an adult is dehydrated, it is a medical emergency. It means you need to be rushed to the hospital and immediately you need to be infused. Have you not wondered why, if you take a sick person to the hospital, at the casualty or at the emergency unit, the first thing they do is to do what? Everybody tell me, if you have taken anybody to the hospital before and at the casualty, what is the first thing the doctors or the nurses do before they even start attending? What do they do first? Let's write. Chat me up now. Let's write. What is the first thing that they do for the patient at the hospital? History taking? Yes. What's the first intervention they do? Apart from history taking, they give saline drip. They give drip, yes. They set up the line. Put on. Why do they do that? They want to quickly, water saline, yes, they give water saline. They want to quickly resolve the water component of it. They want to make sure this body and the cells are being battered by water. If the water level is down, there's nothing anybody can do about it. You must give water quickly. If not, the person goes into shock. When the person gets into shock, it can form shock and the person will die. Water is very, very important. So 50% reduction in water in your body, your life will not be, you cannot maintain life. Water is that important. 80% of your brain is what? Water. So that is why you want to do, somebody who asks about how do you use water to enhance memory. You use water to enhance memory by stimulating the production of neurons. Now, there's a new body of research in neuroscience that neurons can be produced. Fresh neurons can be produced in the brain. The brain can produce fresh new neurons if you stimulate the brain. One brain stimulator is water. One brain stimulator is water. And water now is doing an activity intentionally with water, not just drinking the water. It's an activity intentional activity with water that stimulates the production of neurons as what we call neurogenesis in the hippocampus that manages memory issues, dementia, or the cascade of Alzheimer's disease. Because Alzheimer's, has no cure, but Alzheimer's means the brain is losing more neurons than it is producing, which is why, like you taking this course now or taking this training, what you are doing is that you are stimulating your neurons by doing what? By engaging your mind, your brain in something very profitable. Some people will say, no, we don't need to do, we just need to stay. I know people who have told me since they left school, they have left school for like 15, 20 years. They've not done one extra course. They've not read one extra book. They are still angry because of the things that happened. I did 6 years in school. I'm angry. They're still angry because of what they did in the past. But you need to continue to stimulate your brain, continue to stimulate it, and water does that for you. Now, for pain relief, and rejuvenation and treatment. Now, pain has two components. Pain is a symptom of an underlying disease. Pain is not a disease. Pain is telling you, pain is feedback that something is happening in your body. Pain is telling you, look here, something is going on here. Pain has two components: perception and reaction. Perception and reaction. For instance, men have a higher threshold for pain reaction than women. Women react faster to pain perception than men. But listen, the reason is this: the female brain has more pain receptors than the male brain. This is neuroscience, I'm telling you. So it's not that these women. And the reason why they have more pain receptors than men is because the female brain is wired for territorial protection. Territorial protection. When I say territorial protection, it's not the same thing as the male brain for territorial hierarchy and provision. Protection means they are the ones that care for the territory, and they need to perceive pain faster so that they can respond faster and keep the pack or keep the territory intact. So if you give a man is going through a certain kind of pain, but he's not responding as much as a woman is responding to it. And that's why they say women, they too do self. These women self, they too do. Small thing, they shout. Those, they are hardwired. They are by default, God put them there because of their role. Now, in the pain, in pain perception and reaction, there's what we call the intervention of water to produce relief and rejuvenation. Now, see, once you get into water, maybe let's call this now a swimming pool. There's what we call proprioception. Proprioception is awareness of your body in space. But once you get into water, your body loses proprioception. That's why when you get into water, especially when you're going to the deep end of water, you lose that proprioception. That's what brings fear to people, especially if you don't know how to swim or how to navigate through water. That proprioception is the healing part of pain. That's why if people that have arthritis, people who have spinal cord injury, people who have brain cancer or brain damage, we can use water as therapy for them. Somebody is wondering, did you just mention spinal cord injury? For information, it is only water therapy that is indicated for anybody who has a spinal cord injury for therapy, to exercise the body. I can get somebody who has a spinal cord injury, because now if you have spinal cord injury, you cannot move your body, your limbs and your arms, or you cannot move your limbs generally. So what you need to do is to use water, and the water we use, the force of water of buoyancy will hold you up, and we can do some manipulation to exercise your body. And this is what we are doing. Once we begin to push you around in the water, once you are being pushed around in the water, your body is being moved in the water, the movement of your body is stimulating the development of neurons in your brain. That's why we say your mind controls your body and your body affects your mind. So there's what we call the mind-body connection, where the mind affects the body the body affects the mind. So if your mind is not well, it shows in your body. If your body is not well, it reflects in your mind. So they are all in one. They work hand in hand. So that pain perception is minimized. It is removed once you get into water. You move the client into water, and the client to feel the water takes the client up. Now, two things. Somebody will be asking, I will get there, to tell you the equipments that are used that you don't need to know how to swim, or the client doesn't need to know how to swim. But we always advise that it's good for you, the therapist, to be able to know how to swim and to be able to do some maneuvers in water, because you will need that for your therapy process. So somebody has arthritis, he can't walk. He's having a lot of pain. Because of the arthritis, he cannot exercise. And because he's not exercising, he begins to die mentally. In fact, his finance will begin to die. His relationship will be affected. Because you remember, one of the characteristics of living things is what? Those of us who did biology and integrated science, can you tell me the characteristics of living things? Can you list them? Let me list them. Let me see. List the characteristics of living things for me. Let me see you. Let me see them from you. What are the characteristics of living things? Respond to stimulus, yes. Movement, Mr. Nanja D. So what's Mr. Nanja D? Tell us, movement, one. Movement, yes. I'm seeing movement, reproduction, yes. Respiration, excretion. So good. These people are very active in this class. Thank you very much. So Mr. Nanja D, the first thing, Mr. D, MD. You know, we have MD of organizations. If you don't move, you are going to die. MD, move or die. So water, there's what you call movement in water. Water helps you to move faster than land can help you. Now, if somebody has a stroke, many times stroke victims cannot move in water. But do you know the beautiful thing? They move very well in water. They cannot move on land. They move very well in water. You know why? Water has the force. Water has what you call the buoyancy. Buoyancy is a force from the law of flotation. It holds the weight of the individual, and the person can move in water. So it means that once you get into water, your weight is half of it. You have half of your weight. The water will hold you up. So movement. So if you're not moving, you're going to die. Now, have you heard that water copies and memorizes information? Let me tell you one secret now. I want you to write this down. If you want to know about water, if you want to know about this earth, if you want to know about man, if you want to know about nature, you want to know things about nature, befriend water. Water is the only substance that has copied the information and has kept it in its memory of this world. You know why? Water owns the world. So it has the memory of everything in this world. If you check, research is showing that there are over 5 billion things unknown about water. People are studying water, life underwater. Studying. Why do you think that they say for you to live healthy, you want to for the foods to eat things that are in water, or seafoods, for instance. They call it seafoods. Why do you think seafoods are also very expensive? It's because they carry an information of health. They carry an information for longevity. Since water gave land to the earth to use, water, this thing I'm telling you is science. Scientists are working on this. When we get to crystals, I'll bring out those science for you to see, to realize that water has copied the information of this world. and he has kept it in his memory. So if you want to know things about water, about this world, you go to water. Do you know that each time you get into water, let me ask you, when you have how do you feel when you have your bath? Let's start from there. So tell me, how do you feel? What happens to you when you have your bath? So let's chat. What do you feel? Refreshing? You feel refreshed? Yes, I feel refreshed. Okay. How do you feel? How? Alive, yes. Sometimes I think better. Yeah, thinking. Thank you. Like you feel live, you feel rejuvenated, you feel relaxed, energized. Yes. Now that's what you feel refreshed. Now, can I tell you something? In the brain, lifted. Yes. Like you feel light. You can see when you feel heavy, you have your body, you feel like what has happened? Water has taken that weight. You know, sometimes when I want someone to speak, they started saying this thing this man is saying, are you sure this man is not taking us? Look, because of the depth of the information in water, once you begin to study water and begin to relate with water, once you speak, you begin to speak from a very from a depth that many people will become some people even get afraid and say, is this thing true? It's very, very true. The brain has 5 waves. I only mention one for today. Theta, theta, Theta. Theta wave, water carries theta wave. Theta wave is the subconscious wave. Theta wave is the editor of the human life. Theta edits. And let me ask you, what is the role of an editor? If you say, let's use, okay, if you are a this day editor, this day newspaper editor, what is the role of an editor? Let's write before I talk more about theta. What is the role of an editor? A newspaper or a magazine editor, what's his role? Yes? What's the role of an editor? Checking for errors and makes correction, yes. Quality check, yes. What's the role? What's the role of an editor? To proofread, yes. Arranges content, yes. Sieves out errors, yes. Ensures delivery aligns with intent, correct, yes. Now let me ask again. If you submit an article, okay, he determines the final content of it, yes. If you submit an article and the editor disapproves the article, will it be published? Will the article be published? Will it be published? No. So now I'm trying to make us see the importance of an editor. Is the editor that approves your life's activity. If you want to be wealthy, you must relate with the editor. If you want to be well, the editor must give you wellness. If you want to be rich, the editor must approve it. And this is the problem of human life. Once theta wave is not in support of your life, or if you don't have sufficient theta wave in your life, there will be a lot of confusion. There will be a lot of mistakes. You can see what editor does. But if theta is very functional, theta will remove the things that are it will proofread the content, remove what should not be there, correct the tenses, and it will produce a viable paper for you. Theta. And do you know that water produces theta waves? Theta waves in the brain. Do you know research is now being, scientists are coming up with a research that environments, theta environments, you have environments where you have a lot of vegetation, trees and flowers. Then they now said, if you have trees and flowers and you now have water droplets And those water droplets make those water sounds, those droplet sounds that stimulates theta. Let me ask, when you went to Seychelles, what was the environment like? Because Seychelles is one country now that is producing theta wave. So I want to just tell us a little about the experience around Seychelles when you went there. Just 1 minute before I continue.
So Seychelles is actually about 90% water because the entire population is 95,000. So it's a small country, pretty petite, with an entire population of a country is 95,000, and their major source of income is tourism and everything tied to water. So Seychelles is more of 90% water. Seychelles is the only place where a plane had to land just a little bit away from water. Like I've never swam across an ocean and then landed on just a small portion of the land. And then after the land is water. So if your pilot is not even sure of whatever he's doing, you people will just enter the ocean.
Now, for you going there, what was your experience as a human being?
It was
in that environment.
Yeah, it was a beautiful space because I naturally like water. And then I would have loved to experience and enjoy it more if I knew how to swim. Like I wanted to, knew how to swim to a level that I was sure of. You know, so my first encounter was that ocean swimming. I was told it was a part of the Indian Ocean, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I was told it was a part of a particular ocean that I got in for snorkeling. Well, I couldn't swim comfortably because I was even in a hotel I was in a five-star hotel with fantastic swimming pool and all, but I didn't want to come back in a body bag, you know, so I was humbling myself, just laughing around. So, you know, I'm really upset that I am not using my money's value. So my house in the US also has a pool, you know, and all of those things. So this is one of the reasons why I really need to learn how to swim. Yeah.
Okay, now the people, those of us who are on this this platform this evening, I want all of us to make a decision to go to Seychelles together. All of us, we're going to Seychelles together for a training, and we can make it. We can do it together. Every one of us, if you're interested in going to Seychelles, because we're talking about real science, and the whole world now, for your information, this world will depend on wellness providers than never before. Wellness providers to provide wellness to people. You know, when we talk about this environment, the reason why I say we should all go to Seychelles is this. We're going to begin to use Seychelles as a destination for training. All this training they are running to go and do, and people are going to the market and going to this and going to this. No, once you put people in an environment that produces theta, it's a different thing. So if you are ready to join the theta, the Seychelles club, say yes. I want to hear you say yes, 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 yes. Let's go. Let me see the yes.
They're already responding. They said they are in. Yay, yay, yay.
Good. I can see that. Yes, we're going there. We're going to Seychelles. And the reason is this. We need to, as therapists and coaches, we need to move this thing a little bit higher. And eventually, what we will do as a team, and I want us to take it seriously, what we'll do as a team, pulling our resources together, is to provide a theta environment for training in our country, Nigeria. We can do it. Can't we? Once we have seen, we can create that environment for our people. Now, I was talking about theta wave. I'm using water as theta producing. Theta is the editor, is the one that will make your life beautiful. For instance, you know, one of the reasons why, you know, as those of us who are Christians, why we are struggling a lot as Christians financially is because of what we have been conditioned with when we were younger. They've told us that money is the root of all evil. And they not just say money is the root of all evil, they say we should shun anything that will make us rich in those days. You remember those days? If you are working too hard, or they say, money, money. No, if you pursue money, you it's the root of all evil. You go to hell. You go. So many people now have that in their brain. They now fed that to Tita. Listen now, see the trouble. They fed that to Tita. So now each time they want to do any activity that will produce money, who is the editor? Tita. Tita comes and say, no, money is the root of all evil. Remove this one. To go to this place to do this course to make money, don't go for the course. It weakens your whole system so that you don't even pursue the things that will produce wealth for you. Because the theta wave has been conditioned by parents, by pastors, and leaders to believe that money is the root of all evil, and we were not told what the lack of money would cause. Did you hear me? They say money is the root of all evil. What of the lack of money? What does it cause? So theta, very, very important. Water produces theta. So it means that once you get into water, there's a man who, before he goes for his training, he does what we call water shower, showering on his head 3 times before he goes for his program. That day he's going for the program, 3 times he will shower. Water, he will have that theta stimulation of his brain before he goes for that seminar. And the results he produces are amazing. Theta wave, water produces theta wave. Theta wave is produced by water. Now, how do you increase self-esteem and confidence? Anybody who relates very well with water, even you, think about it. Each time you have your bath, and you get out of the bathroom, aren't you confident? You feel very confident. Your self-esteem is high. What is self-esteem? Self-esteem is the awareness of self. Do you know that you are water? This is what happens once you bring water to the external body. Now, external water meets with your body, and there's internal water. In between the external water and internal water, in the midst of external and internal water, an energy field is created. That energy field between internal and external water is what energizes you and provides you the sense of self. The sense of self is the sense of water. Did I tell you that life began as 100% water? It means that each time your body meets up with water, it reminds you and takes you back to your normal life. So when we talk about healing of trauma, trauma means water has been contaminated and information has been sent into water. What do you do to purify this water? Water, that water, when you get into water, your brain now gets purified because an external water which contains and carries the memory and information of life mixed with internal water now that is so contaminated by an experience, and does what? It begins to purify it. It's a purification process and it removes it. Let me tell you a story of a lady who had in a relationship, she had a relationship, she had a heartbreak and she wanted to kill herself. She called, she was trying to reach me during the day. She couldn't get to me. She had to go to the pharmacy to buy these syrups, these syrups that contain codeine containing syrup, and she took 2 bottles to be able to sleep that night. As a pharmacist, I will tell you more about codeine and all that and what water does. Once you know about water, you don't need codeine. Codeine is a natural pain. This thing you find out. So what happened? The next day, when I got through to her, she told me what had happened. She had broken up with this man and this. She was going through a lot. I said, okay, come. Let me do you a detox and let me offload your emotions with water. And she came to the swimming pool. I had my equipment and I just gave her, it was a 45 minutes technique I used for her. After the 45 minutes, I told her, in fact, I told her she couldn't even drive. And that day, I told her to take a taxi to come. She didn't drive her car. She came with a taxi. So after the session, I drove her and dropped her at home. The next day, she called me. she was, her mind was completely offloaded. What did I do? That emotion that was going on, what I did, I transferred it from the mind, I put it in the water. And that was it. And that was the beginning of a healing process. Now, it's difficult when people go through heartbreak, emotional especially. Emotional. It's deep, but water will remove it because water has that component in it to provide that energy that will detox and will remove those experiences, the traumatic experiences. It deletes it by purifying it. Now, I told you I was going to tell you about analgesic codeine. Now, people drink, we are coaches and therapists, so let me open up to you to tell you these things. Codeine belongs to a class of analgesic substances that interfere with pain, the pain receptors. So once you take an analgesic, it does what? It interferes with the pain receptors such that you don't feel the pain anymore. Now, we have two kinds of analgesics. You have the narcotic analgesics and the non-narcotic analgesics. The narcotic analgesics, you have morphine, codeine, heroin. Those are the common ones that we know. The non-narcotics are ibuprofen, paracetamol, and the others. Now, the codeine belongs to the narcotic analgesics. This is what narcotic analgesics do. In the brain, there's a center. There's what we call the Bekenkasi rigid receptor for narcotic. There's a narcotic receptor in the brain where codeine binds to. And once it binds to that receptor, it annuls the perception of pain. So when people take the narcotic analgesics, going through emotional pain or physical pain, what it does is that it binds there and changes the configuration of the receptor such that the person does not perceive the pain again. Now, see what happens. Water has that capability also to bind to that receptor and influence the pain perception. So how does water do it? Water does it by releasing what you call the natural narcotic that are called endorphins. Endorphins. And nothing produces endorphins like water. Nothing produces endorphins like water. Once you get into water, 10 minutes in water can produce sufficient endorphins that once you come out, that's why you find they say water will help you increase your self-esteem and confidence. Once you come out with the level of endorphins, pain is, there's intervention for pain and it improves your mood. The endorphins also, in another molecular connection, increase the production of serotonin, which is responsible for the mood lifting. It's an antidepressant. Serotonin is an antidepressant. It depresses what? That's mood. It lifts your mood. An antidepressant helps your mood to be upbeat at all times. So if somebody is going through depression, depression means you have low levels of serotonin. Once you have low levels of serotonin, your body will not be able to perform optimally. So with the endorphins will now have a molecular reaction, produce serotonin. Serotonin will now lift your mood. So once you get out of water, your mood is lifted. So for those going through depression, if you can get those fellows very early in the morning when the water is still very cold, or you can get water that is very cold. Once you put anybody in cold water and the person can dip his head into cold water and do a 15 minutes dip, you dip your head in and you bring it out for 15 minutes, it increases serotonin levels and improves the mood of the client. Now, we have water, we're talking about our time, okay? The electrical and crystals of water. Now, listen to this now. This is serious. And it's something we all will relate with. Water has power to conduct electricity only when it has some things dissolved in it. Pure water cannot conduct electricity. Pure water cannot conduct electricity. Now, I'm also a basic life support instructor. I do first aid training. Now, in cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Yeah. If somebody has cardiac arrest, for instance, if in a pool, you find that somebody got drowned, like, okay, as a lifeguard, if somebody is drowning in a pool, and I do what you call the dry rescue, and it doesn't work, and I go into the pool to do what you call wet rescue. When I get into the pool to do the wet rescue, if the person tries to grab me, which is the case all the time, if the person doesn't know about the precautions to take when you're drowning or what to do, if the person tries to grab me as a lifeguard, what I will do is to free myself from that person. We have techniques to free yourself from the person. I will allow that man to drown. Once he drowns, I will pick him up from the bottom of the pool, bring him out to the side, and perform CPR. Now, with the AED, the external, automated external defibrillator, I can do a resuscitation for him. Now, this is what happens. That's what I'm trying to relate it with water. If I put the pads of the defibrillator on the man's chest or the woman's chest, as the case may be, if I did not wipe off the water, if I deliver a shock from the machine, the shock will be lost through the water, because that water in the pool is not pure water. That water in the pool has what we call chlorine. There's a chloride there. The sodium, sometimes you have in some pools now, we have salt, sodium chloride. That sodium chloride will form an electrical complex that will take away the charge. So what do we do in that case? We wipe off the body of the victim before we can place the pad. So for electrical, pure water does not conduct electricity, but the human being, because of dissolved nutrients and dissolved electrolytes, we conduct electricity. So that is why the human brain conducts electricity. If you find when somebody has what we call epilepsy, we have grand mal, we have petit mal, all is an electrical situation where the brain is firing above normal. It's an electrical point because the brain has some dissolved nutrients and electrolytes in the water of the brain. So the brain conducts electricity. Now, what do you do in that case? To stimulate the brain that conducts electricity, you must also provide an external source of water that will bring in that electrical stimulation in the middle. The crystals of water. Now listen, Dr. Masaru Emoto, a Japanese scientist, did a study on water. Water, doing what you call water crystallography, using photography of water. And he found out that he got 2 bottles of water. One, every day, he told that bottle of water, I love you, I love you, I love you. And he told the other bottle of water, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. That bottle of water that was told, I love you, I love you, I love you, produced beautiful hexagonal crystals. While the other one that was told, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, produced scattered crystals. And those crystals are the crystals that represent life. Again, that same research was done in a theta environment where you have trees, you have a green environment, you have droplets of water. And water was collected again in that environment, and the photography was done. And it produced the same crystals like they had with the water that was told, I love you, I love you, I love you. Another one, they did another one with water, 2 bottles. One, do it. The other one, let's do it. Do it. Let's do it. 2 bottles. So each day he came to this one water and said, do it. And went to the other one, let's do it. Do it. Let's do it. What was found? This one that was told to do it, the crystals were scattered. The ones that was told, let's do it, the crystals formed, they were beautiful hexagonal crystals. The crystals formed by water all over, and this is what is going on. Do you know water carries, I told you earlier, water carries the information of this world. When I mean the world, not Nigeria. So you can actually tell what is happening in a country by going to their water. He did another study on the waters of countries. This is an amazing research. Waters of countries. And he found that in some countries, their water crystals were scattered, while in others, their water crystals were what? Hexagonal and beautiful. Now, what was the recommendation on the conclusion of this research? It showed that words are very powerful. What words you speak, powerful. And he related it, this man related it to say, in the beginning was the word, full stop. This earth started with the word. Let there be light. There was light. Whatever words are more powerful than we know, you will be well. You will make an impact in life. We produce hexagonal, beautiful crystals that will destroy trauma. Things will be well. We will get out of COVID-19 in a short time. Hexagonal crystals. The effect of water, this is what water was showing. That if you did this, you will get that. So if you check, have you discovered, this is another thing we have to take seriously. Do you know that the water bodies in Nigeria, they are drying up gradually? And it is coming because of the negativity, the negative talk that is going on here. Do you know that you can actually destroy the water of your child, internal water, telling your child things that the child that will destroy the child's water? Telling a child, you will be great, you are a great person, you are beautiful, you are intelligent, you are lovely, you are amazing. All those things go to do what we call rejuvenation of internal water. Words are powerful. Water produces crystals, and it has been found, this research showed, that water is the carrier of what we call love and gratitude. The two most important things in this human life now, they are called love and gratitude. Love and gratitude. Water, each time you see water, you see love. Each time you go to any water body, look at it very well. Water speaks. And do you know water is always grateful? Go to any water body, you see what water tells you. You see water is grateful. Water can stay still. Water moves. If you try to move water, water will move on its own. If you want water to be still, water will be still. What does that tell you? Water is grateful. So, like we say, when somebody is crying, in those days when you keep crying and crying and crying, and you don't want to stop crying, your parents will say, if you don't stop crying now, we'll give you something that you cry about, isn't it? The same way, if you don't stop being grateful, gratitude will give you something to be grateful for. Water has that capacity. It has that capacity to make you realize that gratitude and love are the two ultimate things in life. Water is very flexible. And the one skill we must develop in this our time is flexibility and adaptability. Do you know fire is not flexible, but water is flexible? If water is passing a location and is stopped by an obstacle, what does water do? Tell me. Water is flowing. Just check in your house. Pour water somewhere and it goes to. Right for me. What does water do? If you pour water in your room, pour water in your room. and it meets an obstacle, what does water do? If water goes to a point and meets an obstacle, the first thing to do is searches for another route to follow. Thank you. One. Yes, what does it do? It keeps moving. What does it looks for another space? Yes. It looks for another space. It's very flexible. Water is flexible. Water will avoid the obstacles and find another route. It will go there. Okay, I can't pass here now. Okay, I'll look for another. But see again what water can do. Water again has a nature to always surmount its obstacle. If water is trying to go through a wall, I tried, and the wall said no. The other, can you let us go? The wall cannot go. Second, go back and tell the third one. The third one will come and say, let's go. Now, what happens is the first level, second level will wait there. When the third one goes back, the third one will go, come back. He says no. What they will do is that they will rise up on themselves until they get to a level. Do you know what they will do to that wall? The one that is under will be digging it under, and in no time they will weaken it. And what will happen? They will bring it down. Water is the only substance that can bring anything in its way. And you know what? That is what the human being is. The human being is strengthened, and the power of water is multiplied when it meets an obstacle. Your strength is multiplied when you meet an obstacle. Your creativity is multiplied when you meet an obstacle. And all this is produced by water. Each time you engage in water, you engage with water, water will automatically increase your capacity to do something. Now, in the past, we believe that creativity is directly proportional, or no, creativity is inversely proportional to what? Age, isn't it? That the more as you're growing older, your creativity should be going down, isn't it? But now science is showing that creativity is directly proportional to age. That the more you grow older, the older you become, the more creative you should be. The more creative you should be. How can that come into being? It's when the internal water is constantly activated. Because you continue to grow, your flexibility improves. Oh, for instance, we're in a season where things are going to change. With the COVID-19 or COVID-19, the things are going to change. Now, the man who is in touch with water will begin to say, oh, okay, there's no way here. My business is not going to work anymore. I have to be flexible now to look for another business. But somebody who is rigid, a rigid fellow who does not have association with water, will be there and will not do anything until it's taken over by events. So water gives you flexibility. Water has forces. You have what we call the hydrostatic pressure, which is a force. You have the law of flotation, which is buoyancy, and you have resistance. Water confers resistance. If somebody has high blood pressure, for instance, if you are doing therapy for somebody who has high blood pressure, take the person to the pool. The person doesn't know how to swim, no problem. Let him get to the point where the water is hot, can get to the chest, or the water can get to his or her chest. At the chest level in water, the hydrostatic pressure will compress the veins to move blood to the heart very fast, especially to the right ventricle for relaxation. So there's more blood in the right ventricle, right auricle for relaxation. So what happens is this. Once the heart pumps the blood, one stroke volume, we call it one stroke volume, we send blood to all the parts of the body very fast. That once you take the blood pressure of the man or woman before the person enters the pool, and after the person enters the pool, the blood pressure goes down. It reduces the person's blood pressure because of the force. You have the hydrostatic pressure, you have the resistance, of water, and you have buoyancy. But these are the forces that water has. And you must conquer that, those forces to be able to move in water. Movement in water is like doing 3 times movement on land. If you do an exercise, 30 minutes exercise in water, you have done like 1 hour, 30 minutes on land, because it engages all parts of your body at that time. That is why it is called water. Water will not do one thing and leave the other. Water will do all parts of your body. And it gives you that flexibility and gives you the total well-being and brings you to a point where your life becomes beautiful. Now, let me ask you to do something very fast, because I have to end here so that we'll take questions. Now, I asked a question as we're starting, to say 10 beautiful things about yourself. Now you're going to do it again in 1 minute. 10 beautiful things about yourself. 10. You just keep writing. So is everyone ready? If you're ready, say yes, 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 yes. I want to see the yeses. If you're ready to write 10 beautiful things about yourself, say yes. Good. I've seen 1 yes, 2 yes, 3 yes, yes, yes. Good. All right. So let's go now. Are you ready now? Everyone is ready. 1 minute. I'm timing. 1 minute. Your time starts now. Go. You have 42 seconds. 33 seconds. 30 seconds. 20 seconds. 10 seconds. 2 seconds. Stop. Stop. Good job, everybody. Can you see that? Look at, see you. Look at everybody. Yes. You see? You did it. I told you. Everyone did it now. Who did 10 over 10? If you did 10 over 10, say yes, 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 yes. 10 over 10, 10 over 10, 10. Or you did more than 10, say yes, 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 yes. Look at the yeses. Look at the yeses now. Yes. Yes. Do you know why you were able to do those 10 yeses or and more? Your water has been stimulated. Your water has been stimulated. Yes, you all did it. Thank you very much. And I'd like to take, when we come back to you, you continue from there. Let's.
He said, oh, he come back to you. Thank you so much, Isaac. I think that is a fantastic time to ask questions. I will not be adding anything else except you ask me questions. So I'll just leave the floor open. Thank you so much. Questions, questions. Please just type your questions. Don't raise your hand though. Just type your questions. Just type your questions. Thank you. Please just type your questions, and as we see it, we'll reply. So Mrs. FFO, Isaac, Mrs. FFO wants to know about weight management and water.
Okay. So let me take the question before I respond, right?
Yes. So there's a question, weight management and water. Who else has a question, please? Who else has a question, please? Question, please just type your questions. Don't raise your hand though, just type your questions. Please type your questions. Mumi, type your questions. Don't raise your hand.
Okay, suicidal healing of water. Okay.
Yes, so there are questions. Suicidal healing of water. There's another one. Must the water be at a pool? How to activate water?
Okay.
Please talk about water and self-esteem.
Okay.
Water and self-esteem. Water and emotions. I think you mentioned that earlier, but somebody's asking about water and emotions.
Okay.
How to increase productivity with water. Okay, somebody says, I'm a bit curious about how the spoken positive words affected the water. How exactly does that work? And finally, water and belief. So let's take those ones, and if we have any more time, we'll take other ones.
Okay, so I can go ahead, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, weight management and water. Now let me ask the person who asked the question. Do you know how to swim yourself? First of all, let's start. You know how to swim in water? Okay, let me just take for the general house. Now you use swimming to be able to lose weight. Now water will carry your weight. If you want to lose weight, water will carry your weight initially once you can swim. And there are different strokes and different um, drills when you want to lose water. When you want to lose weight. Now, there's a drill we call the weight loss drill where you do the butterfly stroke. The butterfly stroke is the one that helps you reduce weight faster. But we have the freestyle. The freestyle helps you to um, uh, do weight reduction in what we call a sequential order. So you start seeing that you're losing weight from your face. From your face, you start losing weight from your face. So when you get into water, now for you to be able to do weight loss in water, you must know how to swim. And the person you're going to help must also know how to swim. So the first lesson is learn to swim, then we'll now start doing weight management in water. So once you have learned to swim, then we can now the kicking the pool and oxygen utilization. Those are the things that we'll be doing. So water, and you're learning, you're losing weight with fun. You will lose weight with fun and with good body tone. It will tone your skin. Water will tone your skin. For information, water is pro-aging. Water is anti-aging. Jogging is pro-aging. Let me give you the science. You can even read about it. Once you jog, you are jogging against gravity. And anything that goes against gravity is brought to the center by gravity. So that brings you to gravity. This is what happens. We age in the direction of gravity. Once you're aging, you age in the direction of gravity. You age downwards. That's why if you're having your bath, if you're having your bath, don't wash your face like this. Don't wash this way. If you wash this way, you are increasing the aging process of your body, because your body ages in the direction of gravity. So this is how you wash. This is how you wash. And now, did I tell you I'm a massage therapist and a reflexologist? In massage, you say you do it against gravity. You go when you want to massage your face. Now, see what I'm doing. Face massage. 1. You take it up. Everything goes up, because if you take it down, you are going to be aiding gravity. But when you swimming, you are not vertical, you are horizontal. So you are pro-gravity. So gravity does not disturb you. So swimming is anti-aging, jogging is pro-aging. So it helps you to lose weight while now improving the body tone and improving your general look. Swimming. So that's how you can use swimming for weight management. So the activity is the drills you do with the client in water. So first thing, if you don't know how to swim, we need to teach you how to swim. Then now teach you how to use that swimming in your therapy. Now, for instance, if you are what do you call them, a weight loss coach. Now, as part of your nutrition is one. Then you use exercise. The exercise you use that will be very lovely for all that will cut across all classes of people is swimming. And once you use that, you see that they're going to have great results because they're having fun, doing their nutrition well. And apart from the weight loss, it is improving their self-esteem and returning them back to their original position. I told you, water has 100% of all of our information because we started from there. Now, suicidal thoughts healing, suicide healing with water. Now, because water has 100% of your information, if you get somebody into water and is able to dip in water, especially water that is in a pool, either a swimming pool or a water body that is clean, you just need a water body that is clean that can take the height of that person, or the person can get to the chest, I can dip in. Now, once you get into water and spend 10-15 minutes, water begins to remind you of the potentials that are in you. What happens in suicidal thoughts is that we have what we call the tunnel syndrome. The tunnel syndrome is that syndrome that makes you feel not to see any other thing in life. Nothing is seen. You are in a dark place and you don't see any other thing. So you are in a tunnel, very dark tunnel, and you can see nothing else. But in water opens up the whole of life to see possibilities. That it is possible that my business failed, this one can do another business. It's possible that this relationship failed because God was trying to save me from something. It opens up possibility. That's how to now destroy suicidal thoughts. Now, how do suicidal thoughts come? Suicidal thought is at the end, at the latter end of the spectrum. Suicidal thoughts begin, or what's caused suicidal thought is what you call depression. The person must have been depressed before he's going to suicidal thinking. Now, what is the cause of the frustration, anger, rage, depression? So rage, anger, what is the cause of it? What is actually stopping this person? Is it the economy? Oh, she's now, she's feeling that she's not going to get married again. She's feeling that everybody is getting married apart from her. Now, what this will do, what water will do is that water will remind her of the origin, of the purpose, greater than what he or she's currently passing through, and opens possibilities. It's when there's possibility that the person can see something else, and that helps to heal that suicidal thought. Now, must the water be in a pool? It must not be in a swimming pool. What you need, you can have water in a river, clean water. If you have a clean environment that the water is clean, you can use that same water. If you have, I don't know if they are building, okay, those are still pools. Even in your house, if you want to get a bath, do you have those kind of baths that you have of 0.5 or 1.5 meters? I doubt. If even in your house you want to have that kind of bath, just a pool of water. Should it be a pool? A river, a body of water that you can get into. It will produce the effect. Water and emotions. Yes. Emotions are a derivative of water. The hypothalamus, where emotions are produced, is fed very seriously with water to produce emotions. So emotions and water, you cannot separate. I told you how this thing started. It was on my journey in emotional intelligence. My fish don't talk about water. Water is very important in the production of emotions. And like the swimming pool and water bodies generally, you have emotions that you can stand. There are some emotions of surprise, emotions of frustration. Those ones are shallow emotion. But once you get to emotions of persistent hunger and anger, rage, depression, you are now getting to the deep parts of the water. So now you need, that's why you need skill, real skill to be able to navigate at that point. So that's how the relation between emotions and water. Every emotion is water dependent. That's why when someone is very angry, they say, go drink water, go drink water. If you drink water, you discover that anger will subside. It's very important. When you just drink water, that time you have spent, you discover something begins to, happen that is fresh. How to increase productivity with water? Now, we can do, if you have an organization, we can do a research with an organization that will say, we'll do 2 times water activity with them, and we check their productivity from baseline, and we'll do that with them for 6 months, and we check the productivity at 6 months after the therapy. You'll find that their productivity will increase by 60%. 60%. It will increase by 60%. Now, apart from that, what we call productivity. When people, the world is looking for so many things. Productivity can never happen if the human being is not in a state of homeostasis. It's not normal. It's not functioning well. Once the human being begins to function well, he will produce. Anybody is not producing, it means something is wrong somewhere. So the emotion, in stress, you use water to manage stress. So those executives are not going through a lot of stress and stuff. If you get them into water, do you know if you have found anybody who doesn't know how to laugh? Bring them in water and keep a camera around and give the person the camera after the water activity. The laughter you produce in water, oh my God. The movement, when they try to move in water, I do some things sometimes. I put some balls and say, pick the balls for me. Once they try to pick the ball and they're moving and they're about to get it and they fall, that fall, once they get out of, you find beautiful laughter. Beautiful. It will help productivity and help people to relax and to be able to, destroy the stress that weighs them down. Spoken words and water. Let me tell you, this is true, and you can now experiment this. If you have children or you have workers that you have been told do it, or you have children who you have spoken negative things about. You cannot do well. You are this or that. Wake up every day now and tell, or even if you have a husband or a wife that you have not been in good terms with, you have said so many things, just go and tell, my wife, you are beautiful, you are amazing, you are gorgeous, you are fantastic, you will deliver quality to our country. Do positive, and after 1 week, please send us your result. When we talk like this, we look theoretical. You can speak. In the beginning was the word. The most powerful thing is the word. What are you saying? Once you say it, it will mix with theta. Theta will take it and begin to edit. Edit. You are great. Do you know? I know a man, one very senior fellow. You know what he told me? Up to today, the theta that his mother installed has not finished with him. What is the theta? Each time his mother tells him, you are lazy, you are lazy, you are lazy, you are lazy. Till today, he will ask his wife after doing some things, honey, do you think I'm lazy? Theta is still disturbing him till today. So let's go positive. We shall get out of COVID-19 safe. Nigeria will return normal. We will be, I've asked somebody, what will you be doing for 50 years? He was looking at me. I said, you will be around for another 50 years. He looked at me. I said, yes. What will you be doing? That's why you should not this thing. It's a plan for 50 years we are talking. Once you go that way, it opens possibilities for you. And you see your life going on well. All right. Let me stop here. Oyinko.
Are you done with the questions? Are you done with the questions?
Yeah, I'm done with the questions.
Okay, good. This session was recorded. 1 or 2 people joined late. The office gave me a particular feedback. Some of them did not impute their mobile number, so there was no way they were going to be, I don't know, but bottom line, this was recorded. The recording will be shared before close of business tomorrow. Kindly pay attention. It will be shared before close of business tomorrow. Please don't reach out to anybody, not me, online, nobody. Please would share this in your email tomorrow before 5 p.m. If you do not get access, please check your spam box. I am saying this deliberately because sometimes putting this together can be a handful. People just everywhere, and it is just the simple instructions they are not going through. So please check your spam box first of all and your inbox before you reach out to the office. But before 5 p.m., you get access. 2 more questions and we're done. Somebody says, what's the link between water and belief? That's all. Water and belief. Yeah. What's the link between water and belief?
Okay. Water and belief. Now, what you believe is what has been repeated as value to you over and over and over again. So water will strengthen your belief. And again, water will help you to change your belief. Did you hear that? What you are told over and over and over again that is valuable or value to you becomes what is called belief. Once you believe something, it means it has been told you, you have read it over and over and over and over and over again. Water again has the capacity of removing those things you have heard over and over again, detoxing you of them and giving you a new value to believe, something new. And what you believe will run your life. If you believe that, let me tell you, before I didn't believe that a natural Nigerian can make 1 million naira legitimately. A natural Nigerian cannot make 1 million naira legitimately. That was my belief. Because I was told, I have listened so much of people, what do you call it, corrupt people stealing money and all that. But later, I now found that you can actually make 1 million naira legitimately. And that belief, I confronted it with a fresh one, using water, and you understand? So water and belief, very, very important. Any other one?
Final question. Final question was, I saw something from Daniel. Daniel saying, Mr.
Okay, how do you listen to water?
Yes, how do you listen to water? Thank you.
Very good. So now, the way to listen to water is to go to water and sit by water. When you sit by the water, look at the water. Now I'm not taking you to a form of meditation. Look at the water. Just keep looking at the water and listen to what the water is telling you. You are water and you are seeing an external water, you are listening to it. If the water is agitated, if the water is troubled, you will hear it tell you, I am troubled, I am agitated. Once you find that when the sea is turbulent, you hear it tell you there is a problem, something is going on here. Please listen to me. And the way you listen to the water is the way you listen to yourself. Is to stop. We call it stop, pause, listen. Stop, pause, listen. By that time, you're looking at the water and you listen to the water. You remember, for those of us who know David will say, he leads me beside the still waters. Then what does he do? He restores my soul. He restores. So that's the restoration comes once you listen. And in that listening, it tells you some things. Then it now restores you. You'll be quiet by that water. People might be there, but you are. See, the human being is so deep and it connects to water because you are 100% water. Anywhere you see water, it's talking about you. You can sit there and you get that feeling. Get that message coming. And water speaks. Water will speak to you. And you are the one that will listen. And again, you can speak to the water. You can speak to the water, and the water will listen to you too. So say, whatever water can listen, can you listen? You can listen to a pool of water. You can listen to an ocean. You can listen to a glass of water. Put a glass of water on the car engine. If you have a car or you know somebody who has a car, let them start, before it starts the engine, listen to that water. Let them start the car engine and listen to what the water is telling you. You will hear the water speak to you. Yeah, I think that is all these things we can experiment them. ED.
Thank you so much, Isaac. It is past 7. Thank you so much. Isaac has given us more than enough for the amount of money that we paid for. This was recorded, like I said. Everybody will receive the links to the recording before 5 p.m. tomorrow. Please check your inbox and your spam box before you reach out to anybody from the office. Please, you don't need to send me a DM or send me any messages on Instagram just reach out to the office. So everybody was instructed to please send their payment receipt to courses@emotioncity.com. Just send an email to courses@emotioncity.com if you do not receive this video by 5 p.m. tomorrow. But please check your inbox and spam box first of all, before you reach out to them. So you don't need to send me a DM or anything. Please just reach out to the office, courses@emotioncity.com. Isaac, thank you for your time. Thank you for this. We would forward to everybody tomorrow evening. Thank you so much once again for showing up for the water therapy course. It's a good foundation for water therapy. You can Google, do a lot of things, and then connect with water more than ever before. Do have a fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Thank you once again, Isaac. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Fantastic night. Thank you, everybody. Do have a fantastic, fantastic night. Thank you.